Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. So on the undercard of Daniel Dubois versus Joyce, Anthony Yarde will face domestic rival Lyndon. Lyndon is a 16-0 light heavyweight. He has 12 knockouts on the resume and he is the Commonwealth light heavyweight champion. Obviously Anthony Yarde, his last big fight was against Sergey Kovalev. He put up a valiant effort, had some moments, but ultimately he got taken out in the 11th round. Anthony Yarde has actually had a comeback fight since then. He fought a 4-rounder in Spain against a complete no-hoper. Basically what Warren was trying to do, he was trying to get Anthony Yarde in a position to potentially fight for a vacant title. I believe with the WBO, you have to be coming off a win to challenge for a vacant title, something along those lines. And yeah, it looks like they tried to get Yarde in a position to fight for the WBO, but that never worked out and Yarde has to go a different route now. And I've got to say, I don't think this is a bad fight. Let's be honest, this is basically his comeback fight. I know he fought that 4-rounder in Spain, but that really proved nothing. Lyndon is a guy with ambition. He can punch a bit, actually had a decent amateur background, fought in the World Series of Boxing. He's an okay fighter with solid fundamentals, and also he's quite a big light heavyweight. He's around 6'2", you know, got a good jab, good long punches. He's a good domestic fighter, and recently, of course, he became the Commonwealth light heavyweight champion. To be honest with you, this is the type of fight Anthony Yarde should have been having 18 months ago against these type of opponents, you know, his domestic rivals. You know, Frank Warren did very well to get Anthony Yarde a title shot because he never really beat anybody. You know, they really manipulated the rankings and they got him a shot, they got him a good payday, but was he really prepared for that fight? I don't think so, and that was partly because of the poor competition leading up to it. These are the fights Yarde should have been fighting 18 months, 2 years ago. But we're here now, and I think this is a perfectly acceptable comeback fight for Anthony Yarde. Like I say, I see this as Yarde's comeback fight. I certainly believe Yarde is more naturally talented than Lyndon. You know, quicker hands, he's more explosive, he's a better combination puncher, and all round, the guy just has more ability, you know? He can counter, he can punch to the body. Yeah, for me, Anthony Yarde is just a lot more dynamic than Lyndon. Yarde is still raw, don't get me wrong. He still has a lot of improvements to make. You know, like I say, he's still raw, but I believe there is raw talent there with Anthony Yarde. I think with the right coach, with the right training regime, and with the right fights, I actually believe Anthony Yarde can get a fair bit better. I certainly don't think he's plateaued right now. I still believe the guy's got a higher ceiling. My only concern is, you know, obviously his trainer, Tunde Ajayi. I'm still not convinced. And the matchmaking, I think this is a good comeback fight for Anthony Yarde, to be honest, and I have no problem with it. But, you know, after this, I really want to see Anthony Yarde push on and go through the levels properly this time around. So this is a domestic level fight. After this fight, providing he wins, which he should do, I want to see Yarde then go up to European level. You know, and actually step through the levels and, you know, do it properly this time instead of trying to get a bogus sanctioning body ranking and a title shot. Because last time Anthony Yarde didn't even have to fight an eliminator to become mandatory. So yeah, this time around I want to see him step through the levels a bit more, get more experience and fight competitive fights on the way up. You know, Yarde is still fairly young. What's he, 28 years old? Something like that. He's still got time. Like I say, he's got a lot of raw ability. And yeah, I think this is a step in the right direction for Anthony Yarde. And a good addition to the undercard of Daniel Dubois versus Joyce. Like I say, I fully expect Yarde to do the job. But, you know, Lyndon, he's going to go in there with a lot of ambition. He's unbeaten himself. He can punch a bit. You know, he's got a good amateur background. So far as a pro, I think Lyndon's looked okay, but not great. Maybe this is the type of fight he needs to really, you know, get the best out of himself. Maybe this is the type of fight where he'll find another gear and look better. Who knows? But yeah, I like the fight. I think it's a good fight for Yarde and one I would certainly watch. Anyway, share your thoughts below. What do you think of this fight? What do you make of Yarde's comeback? How far can Anthony Yarde go in the sport? Share your thoughts below. Peace.